and just mention a few points. First of all, we know the historic data that is there. And the historic data suggests that there was a lot of trade that used to take place between the regions and the countries, way before independence and all of that. And hence, something changed after the independence. And therefore, barriers started coming in. And hence, the clear indication, historical indication, is that there is huge opportunity, but something is going wrong. Somewhere things are not correct, and we need to fix it. So that is how this whole thought process started. Second, most important is that we have an agenda for our state. And the agenda for our state is that we want to double our economy, which is what Honorable Prime Minister has been focusing on. And we as a state, if all the states work towards it, we will achieve the national goal that we have. And hence, Meghalaya wants to also do its part to contribute to that. And hence, we looked at the trade. And you'll be surprised to know that the trade in terms of the quantity, in terms of the value, that we have, is with Bangladesh, is $0.01 million. Now, obviously, that is completely incorrect. That means Meghalaya's exports to Bangladesh is $0.01 million. That's what the records show. So therefore, there is clearly, as I said, an issue, and we need to resolve things. We need to increase those numbers, and if we increase those numbers or even rectify it, I want to also stress on this, that we rectify these numbers and we will see our numbers go up. So that's number two. Number three, I have been stressing again and again and again, and I can see that Professor Lama is out here. He's a dear friend of mine, and we've been always talking about this agenda, and he has been somebody who's been very much involved in the documentation of the Act East policy. And I have been advocating this from the beginning, that we cannot have a generic Act East policy. Act East policy has to be zone-wise. There is no Act East policy for Meghalaya, or rather there is limited Act East policy for Meghalaya and, say, Myanmar. There is maybe in the long run in some way or the other, but for Meghalaya it's definitely Act South. So therefore, how do we go about creating these economic zones where states like West Bengal, Assam and Meghalaya work in Zone 1 for the Act East, which is with Bangladesh. Tripura and Mizoram and Bangladesh again work together in Zone 3 with Bangladesh again, and say Zone 2 would be again Meghalaya and say Barak Valley. So we need to have specific zone-wise strategies to be able to take the Act East policy forward. So that's really the beginning of all that we were trying to do, and this is the background of how we started moving in this direction. And today what we are seeing is actually many meetings being held at Prime Minister's level, at External Affairs Ministry level, personally, me going and meeting them. And of course, our officials have done excellent work today, and we are here. So that's the background of how this all built up and why we are here. The question is, what do we do now? So to start off with, what we really are keen on doing is looking at the low-hanging fruits. There are some simple things that we can do that can start to change things, in the immediate impact. Now let me tell you a very funny story, but it's not funny.